my list sucks.
Yeah.
So just to restate what we're doing, top 5 directors that need to make another movie.
Yes, because there are some directors out there and you're like, come on,
And
man.
the reason that my list sucks is because a lot of the directors that I want to see another movie from have like already announced projects.
Oh, do they?
And I'm talking about people that don't,
Mm-hmm.
or like that are kind of like on the fence about doing the project or whatever, and it's been a while for that person. And it's funny because like most of these people, it's only been like 5 years since they put out a movie.
Yeah, but still, I count that. In today's world, that's a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I only have one honorable mention. So
Okay.
David Lynch.
Okay. Well, I do not have any honorable mentions. So
Okay.
We're just gonna be able to jump right into this bad boy.
Bad boy. All right. So who wants to go first?
You can go first.
All right. This is my number 5 for a reason. It's Will Eubank, and that's because apparently he does have a film coming out in 2019, but it's not confirmed. And I don't know. Freaking the last film he made was The Signal, which was in 2014. So 15, 16, 17, 18. That's 5 years.
Yeah.
It's half a decade. It's like, bro, like, come on. I get it. It's like he's not like an established filmmaker, so it's probably harder for him to make a movie. You know, but I just, you know how I feel like Will Eubank. I love the guy. Even though he's only made 2 films. I cannot wait for Underwater. It's supposed to come out this year, but there's like nothing about it. There's no poster. There's no teaser image. There's nothing. I don't know what's happening. So like 5 years is a long time. So I'm really I just want him. I just want to see his next project, you know? Because I love his visual style, and I'm like, come on, dude. Like, I'm like hankering for it. I'm like, I need it. I'm like SpongeBob with the water, you know? In Sandy's Dome. I need it. Yeah.
I feel ya.
Yep.
I feel ya. This is kind of a weird choice.
I hope it's not.
But just bear with me. Bennett Miller, because that man has not made a bad movie.
Okay.
He started with a documentary that was highly praised in '98 called The Cruise. Then 7 years later, he did Capote with Philip Seymour Hoffman, which landed him Best Actor. 6 years later, he did Moneyball. I don't care about sports at all, but between Sorkin, the music from This Will Destroy You, and Miller's patient direction, I found it in me to care. And
Moneyball's
then
great.
3 years later, and most recently, he did Foxcatcher, which was a slow burn, potential energy drama about a real tragedy. Granted, it's only been 5 years, but he hasn't announced anything new yet, which means that it probably won't be a while. It'll still be a while before anything gets put out.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, it was 2014, so
Yeah.
it's been 5 years too.
Dang, dude. Yeah. No, I get you. Definitely. Moneyball's great, though.
It is.
My number 4 is Neil Blomkamp.
Okay.
The last film he made was 2015 with Chappie. How many years is that?
Oh, yeah, 4 years.
4 years. That's a long time. I know he's kind of started like... All right, so District 9 I love.
I love District.
I think it's great. Elysium, a bit of a step down, but I don't think Elysium is necessarily that bad.
I liked it when I first saw
I think
it,
it's just not up to par. District 9 is a little forgettable, but it's not a bad movie. Chappie was bad. Okay, but
Chappie was bad.
Chappie was bad in my opinion, but but it had a lot of potential to it, and the trailers, I think a lot of why that movie was ill received was because the trailers pitched a different movie than what we got, you know. Ironically, the trailers pitched a more character-driven character study, and the movie was almost just like an action fest, and that's all it was, which is ironic, you know, because usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
And there was also some really weird choices in that film, but I still feel like this dude has the potential to do great things. He has a style, he has a look he goes for, he always tries to innovate things with technology, like special effects and stuff. And I love it. And District 9 and Elysium both showed that. And he's been busy working on Oats Studio, which is like a production company, like primarily focusing on like special effects and stuff. And so he's been doing that for a while. In 2017, he actually, created Oats Studio. And he's been doing a lot of short films. So he did a short film called Raka and a couple other short films, and apparently he was in talks to direct the new RoboCop movie called
Another one?
Yeah,
Jeez.
and it's going to be a sequel to the original film. It's going to ignore the remake and all the other sequels like RoboCop 2 and 3, and it's going to be called RoboCop Returns. But again, that's just kind of talk. Like there hasn't been really much of anything other that initial announcement.
Yeah.
And you know what those mean. Those don't really mean anything. Also, he pitched an idea, and this was just him pitching it. He pitched an idea of Alien 5 to Sigourney Weaver, who he knows because she was in Chappie. And Sigourney Weaver backed it, and he wanted to do Alien 5, and it was going to happen. And the ideas sounded amazing. He even released some concept art for it, but then Ridley Scott was like, nope, shut it down.
Damn.
Ridley Scott, because he was doing Prometheus and Alien Covenant, he's like, nah.
Yeah. Damn it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I think it would have been cool to see a new filmmaker's take on the Alien franchise, especially a talented filmmaker who I think Neil Blomkamp really is. Chappie was very weird and I had some really bad choices, but District 9 and Elysium, I think, show the guy's worth, his talent. So,
all right. Well, this next one, I'm gonna need to explain, or I feel like I'm gonna have to convince. Cause,
I don't know, because this next one I feel like I'm gonna have to convince you.
I think
it might be the same guy.
Is it Francis Ford Coppola?
It is not.
It is not.
But
okay, so for obviously Coppola is one of the legends of Hollywood. The last 20 or 30 years haven't been so good to his career, but hear me out. The last thing he did was technically in 2015 with some limited broadcast live show called Distant Vision, but before that was an awful horror film in 2011 called Twixt.
Yeah.
Since he's expressed interest in doing Megalopolis next, a passion project he's held on to for the last 20 years, which we talked about actually.
Yeah, we did.
I think that he'll be able to pull it off. I think it's been a while since he's put out something that he's actually wanted to put out.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, yeah.
Yeah, I think he can do it.
Yeah. See, this one's gonna take some convincing for you. Much more than your pick. Your pick didn't really need any convincing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because those last 20 have been rough.
They've been bad. They've been bad. But
yes.
But this one's gonna just hear me out.
Okay.
Just hear me out. This guy hasn't made a film since 2006. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
13 years.
13 years this guy hasn't made a film. George Lucas.
No!
Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Okay.
I have to.
Hear me out.
I have to hear you.
It's funny that you mentioned Francis Ford Coppola. Francis Ford Coppola has stated in an interview, I can't remember which, I think it was The People vs. George Lucas or something, or some other interview that he was a part of, and he said, he's friends with George Lucas, and he's read ideas and spec scripts and other ideas from George Lucas that have blown his mind. And he said this guy can do so much more beyond Star Wars. But he said it's kind of sad that he let Star Wars be his only thing for his entire career. Because Francis Ford Coppola said he saw and he knows the potential he has beyond Star Wars. And he also did a couple other things like American Graffiti, which is also a really good movie. THX, I've never seen that one. But American Graffiti is really good. And, of course, the original Star Wars is really good. And he hasn't really directed that much. But he said when he sold, in the Charlie Rosa interview after he sold Lucasfilm to Disney, he said he's still making films. But here's the crazy part. He's making films just on his own where he only shows himself and his friends. He doesn't, do any release for them. He just makes them. Because he has enough money now to where he can just make films for himself. But I want to see some of those films. He's not a great writer. I'll give that. Mm-hmm. But he revolutionized filmmaking with his technology and his tech know-how and his knowledge of the business. And he can definitely... He's a good story man.
Yeah.
He's a good story man, but he's not a great writer. And I think if he had a great writer, I think he could do something kind of groundbreaking, in all honesty. I mean, he was the first guy to shoot digitally, to shoot an entire film digitally. Mm-hmm. So he's always been pushing that boundary, of stuff. First dude to have a fully CG animated mocap character or whatever. Granted, that character was not good, Jar Jar Binks, but Misa, Jar Jar Binks.
Oh boy.
But regardless, technology was there, and he revolutionized it. The man is he's a very smart man. And I think he has more in the tank than just Star Wars. I've always said that. I've always said I would like to see him be more than just a one-trick pony. Get a different writer. Maybe come up with a story, get someone else to write it. Get Drew Goddard to write it. Or Drew Goddard, whatever his name is. Drew Goddard? Yeah, Get Drew Goddard to write something. Kind of like what Ridley Scott did. Ridley Scott had some really bad films for a while. because he insisted on writing them himself. All of a sudden, Drew Goddard came in, wrote The Martian, best Ridley Scott movie in years. You know, I'm telling you, I think the same can happen to George Lucas.
Maybe. I don't think he showed any initiative to like even try to do something like that. To try to make another movie.
No, he definitely doesn't look like he's retired. He says, but I think he has more in him. And he said he's making movies for himself. Why not just show them to people?
Yeah.
You know.
You know what? I'd be about it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll happen, but
no, it'll never happen. But man can wish.
My number 3 is Spike Jonze.
Spike Jonze.
The last movie he put out was Her, which he wrote too. Funny enough, I'd say Charlie Kaufman is a superior writer, but the best movie he did, which was Her, was written by Jonze. Being John Malkovich and Adaptation are great too. I would love to see Jonze shock me like that again, because I had no desire to see Her when it first came out, and it ended up being my favorite film of the year.
Yeah,
Let's do that again.
Her is one of the best films I've ever seen. And I mean that. No, that's legit. It's in my top 10 films of all time. Her. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's and it's such a hard premise to sell people on.
It is.
But it's amazing. And
it didn't sell me at all. It's probably like the biggest like shock to me in my entire years of watching movies.
Yeah. And Spike Jonze, you're right, hasn't made a film since then.
6
Damn.
years.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. He needs to make something. What's going on?
You can put retcon,
I'm gonna put him on a mention. Shit, I kind of want to replace. No offense to Will Eubank, because I know he's got something coming out. So I'm gonna put Will Eubank as an honorable mention. Spike Jonze, my number 5.
All right, and that's my number 3.
My number 2 is Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, whoa!
So
there we go.
Yeah. So I don't really know what I got to say.
Okay, shit.
You're right. He hasn't made a film since 2011, which is how many years? 12, 13, 14, 15, 8 years. I'm really bad at math. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah. I used to fail math spectacularly. You know what my report card always used to be?
What?
It used to be like A, D. And the D was always math.
Really?
Yeah, it was like, so I used to get straight A's and
I could tell when you're like, how many years is that bad? And I'm like, dude, 2019, 2006, 13.
Yeah, I see. I can't. Yeah, I'm really bad at math. I was in a special math program like for most of my school career, actually.
Really?
Because I struggled with it so much.
Damn.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I'm pretty good at simple math. I was actually the first one in elementary school always to finish like my math. Like,
really?
You ever had those like multiplication like tests or whatever, and you would do it, and then you would move on to like the next higher step or whatever, and you keep doing it. I finished that first.
Yeah,
before anybody else.
I would struggle with math. I was always the last kid done, and I was put in a special math class multiple times.
Really?
So yeah, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, math sucks. I always have to use my fingers. I can't.
I noticed that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's your
Francis Ford Coppola, right? 2011 Twixt. I didn't see it, but I heard it was terrible. It's also notorious for having one of the most awkward Hall H panels of all time at San Diego Comic-Con. Hall H is reserved for like Star Wars and like Marvel.
Yes.
And like
that's gotta be terrible.
And they put like Twixt on it, and they said
because it was Francis Ford.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
and
shit.
And they said it was just the weirdest, most awkward panel of all time. And I was like,
yeah, dude, I can just imagine that being a packed theater, and they're just like,
yeah,
what the fuck is this?
Like,
wait, why are we here?
Yeah, right. It's like, isn't Avengers supposed to come on? Like, what is this? Everyone's like cosplayed up. Like, everyone.
I'm hurting.
But yeah, Francis Ford Coppola is a great filmmaker, and hopefully Megalopolis happens. Like, he's kind of old, isn't he? He's like 80? Isn't he like 80?
He's old.
And like, he's got it. And I hope he can make Megalopolis, man. Hopefully he can do it and, end his career on a high note. Because after that, I'm sure he'll retire.
That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 2, I'm wondering if it's your number 1.
Probably
not, though. Probably not. It's David Fincher.
David Fincher is not...
Last thing he did was Gone Girl, which was 2014. This is his longest period without putting out a film, because his longest streak was 5 years between Panic Room and Zodiac. But this is longer because you have to factor in the fact that he hasn't said that he was going to do anything yet.
Well, he was going to do World War Z, but then that got canceled, so...
Yeah, but he's got a bunch of unrealized projects, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Off screen, he did the very promising first season of Mindhunter, which I'd be just as thrilled if he put out a second season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just give me anything. I really don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I already know what your number one... Or, wait, you already know what my number one is.
I do, yeah.
But I really don't know what your number one is.
Really? It's Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi, no. If you would have gave me like 2 seconds, I would have said that. I literally just thought of it.
Yeah. No, look, I love Sam Raimi. I think he's a very talented filmmaker. He has an amazing style. Evil Dead 1 and 2 and Army of Darkness, all great, even though I haven't really seen all of Evil Dead 1 or Army of Darkness, but Evil Dead 2 is great. And and they're pretty much bona fide classics at this point. Quick and the Dead, amazing. Spider-Man trilogy, you know how I feel about that. It's one of the, friggin' I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Oz the Great and the Powerful was his last film, which was in 2013. Mm-hmm. And so how many years is that?
6.
6 years? Yeah, that's so long, dude. And the crazy thing about Sam Raimi is that there's so many projects he gets attached to and then it doesn't happen. And I got a list right here for you. Army of Darkness 2, he was supposed to do. Fede Alvarez, who did the remake of Evil Dead, said he was going to do Army of Darkness 2 and then combine both the remake and the original storyline. But then, boom, Bruce Campbell came out and said that's not happening, and then they made Ash vs. the Evil Dead 2, which he did direct the pilot, but that doesn't count. I don't count that because it's not a movie. Mm-hmm. In February 26, 2016, it was confirmed that Raimi was attached to direct the upcoming film World War III for Warner Brothers. The film will be based on the possible future inspired by the book The Next 100 Years by George Friedman. Where's that? Where's that film? Nowhere.
He's too busy producing shit.
Exactly, but there's more. On February 16, 2017, it was reported that Raimi will be directing a thriller about the Bermuda Triangle for Skydance Media, with a script being written by Doug Miro and Carlo Bernard. Where's that film?
Oh shit! That shit would hit close to home.
It would.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, right.
I have a friend of like my grandma who like went out there like on a plane and he disappeared.
No way.
Disappeared.
You serious?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Fuck the Bermuda Triangle, dude.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. That's crazy. That's creepy.
I used to read into it a lot because I was fascinated by it.
Yeah.
All these
Didn't the Mythbusters like try to disprove it and prove it and stuff? They say like because like in that area for some reason there's like a ton of methane gas that rises up from that area.
Yeah, it's either that or they think that like underneath of all that is like something that messes with the compass, like a stronger magnetic pull, and it's also like the reason why like planes like crash. It's because it pulls them down.
Yeah,
like there's a bunch of different like.
And then of course then you got the supernatural where people think it's like.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Which is probably what...
Where the movie would turn into.
Yeah, it's probably what Sam Raimi would do if I had to guess. But anyway, I'm not done though, Tyler.
Oh, I know.
On January 29, 2018, it was announced that Raimi was set to direct the first movie in the big screen adaptation of Patrick Rothfuss's King Killer Chronicles
Whoa!
series.
He was going to do that?
Yeah, the Name of the Wind.
Holy shit!
I don't even know what that is.
The King Killer Chronicles is like a huge... Like, Jake loves that. Like, he doesn't love that shit because he thinks the characters are Mary Sue, but like... That's like his type of stuff.
Really?
Like, oh fuck, that's cool.
He was going to direct the first big adaptation, The Name of the Wild, with Rothfuss and Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda serving as executive producers.
That third book to that trilogy is never coming out.
Yeah. Well, however, you know what else is not coming out? Probably this movie. Because, it was reported on December 1st, 2018, that Raimi was no longer involved with the project.
God, it wasn't even a year later.
I know, like, dude, like...
Does he just piss people off? Like,
I don't know. I don't know, man. 2013, 6 years, he hasn't made a film. And he's been producing a lot of films. I mean, if we go to his freaking producing credit here, there's actually quite a lot. Because let's just go from 2013. So in 2013, he produced the Evil Dead remake, Poltergeist, First CRISPR, whatever that means, Don't Breathe, Crawl, and Grudge.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's produced a lot. But it's like, bro, like, direct something. Like, you're an amazing director. I love Sam Raimi. And Sam Raimi and Bryan Singer, you know, that's kind of, that's a bad name to say now, but just go back in time with me. Sam Raimi and Bryan Singer really kind of were the catapults to have me, like, want to become a director, you know, because of X-Men and Spider-Man. Like, they were, like, huge reasons I wanted to be a director when I was a child. I was like, man, like, this is, like, I want to do this. I want to do what these guys do.
Yeah.
You know? So I really want to see Sam Raimi do something. I mean, Oz is not necessarily like a terrible movie. It's still watchable, but it's not like... I know he could do better than that. And I feel like he just needs to do something, man.
Yeah.
He just needs to do something. And that Bermuda Triangle movie sounds sick.
It does sound sick.
And World War III, that also sounds sick.
Yeah, and that would have been a cool concept with the King Killer Chronicles. But
I know.
That would have been cool too.
Rip.
Damn, more fantasy, please.
Rip. Oh, he was also supposed to do Warcraft.
Oh, really?
He was going to do Warcraft, and then he dropped out, and then Doug Jones did it instead.
Yeah.
So.
Damn, unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Well, obviously you know my number one. So
yeah, David Lynch.
This is David Lynch. Yeah.
David Lynch.
The last movie he put out was Inland Empire back in 2006. Since then, he also did the Twin Peaks Showtime season, which was a return for all the characters. And that paranormal town, they also added a bunch of shit. It's weird. I'm gonna be honest with you. I own it now, and I'm a third into it. It's like super fucking weird. Even for Lynch, it's like weird.
Okay. Is it comprehensible?
It was definitely back then. Now it's off the rails because it's like there's like 3 characters that exist, but they're all like played by the same person, and like they're all like. It's almost like they're in different dimensions. It feels like it's crazy.
That's crazy because like Legion by Noah Hawley is crazy.
It is. It's very psychedelic.
It's psychedelic and crazy, but
because it takes place relatively within his own mind.
Yes, but you can still.
Whoa! That scared the shit out of me. Fuck.
Did it really?
It kind of did actually.
Really?
I was like, where the fuck's that coming from?
No, but it's like some freaking little person comes up. What was I gonna say? Fuck. Thanks, Siri. Oh yeah, but like Legion is like insane and psychedelic, but you can still follow the story. It's still like you can follow it, the narrative.
Yeah.
Can you do that with Twin Peaks? Or
yeah.
Or is it to the point where you're just watching like?
Yeah, there's just a lot going on right now. Like there's like this monster that escaped, and it's like whoa, okay. And then there's like stuff that's going on, with that character I was just referring to, and then there's like a hitman like conspiracy thing going on, and I'm just trying to see like where it all ties in together. So it's just it's weird.
Yeah.
But this man has only released 10 films, and 3 of them deal with the same themes. He basically just tried to perfect the seeing something that was always there concept. Do that again for all I care. Do something original. Do another Disney movie. Whatever you do, I'll watch it.
Did he do a Disney movie?
He did a Disney movie. It's called Straight Story. It's about the guy who drove his John Deere tractor across America.
Interesting.
Yes, it's a Disney movie. It's rated PG. Yes, a David Lynch movie.
movie?
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy.
I never heard of it. Is this a documentary?
It came out in 97. No, it's not a documentary.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. I'd watch anything he puts out. I really don't care.
No, I feel you, dude.
So, yeah, that's my...
Do another big blockbuster.
Dude.
You gotta make it up for Dune. Even though I know...
Oh, yeah.
I know you defend that movie, even though I never
I haven't seen it, but I heard the director's cut's really good.
Okay.
And I've read a lot of stuff about, like, what happened with it.
Okay. I haven't, so you know more about it than me.
Yeah.